Hello, hello. How are you? I'm Helen Sadler, your Destiny Helper. Wanted to discuss something that we've talked about. Good. Hello there. How are you? Glad to have you on board. Thank you so much for being with us on this evening. We want to talk about dismantling humiliation. If you ever been humiliated by the narcissist, especially on a public forum, it can be quite challenging psychologically, emotionally, because they leave you out there to handle that. And with other people looking on you, hello, Cynthia. How are you? Thank you for joining me on this evening. We're waiting for a few more people to come on. We're going to talk about dismantling humiliation. We're not going to just talk about how the narcissists humiliate you. We want to know, what can I do about it to help myself when he humiliate me? And it's a constant action, and he does it publicly to make sure that I receive the maximum humiliation. If you've ever had a person to humiliate you, it's intentional. It's never ever by mistake. She said, I'm well, good, good, great, great. I am so glad that you are doing good. You know, I receive a lot of emails about how the narcissist humiliate and how he gets you on a forum where you seem the most vulnerable. And so what do humiliation do to you? Hello, Pinky K. How are you? She said, oh, I am doing well. I hope you are doing well. Thank you for joining me on this evening. Hello, Mart Eat. She said, hi, my old boss did this to me on the sales floor in front of customers. Right. I was just saying that a lot of times they like it when it's open, because the more people are around and the more vulnerable the forum, the more humiliation you are. Hello there, Slim 31. How are you? Thank you for joining me on this evening. It is almost midnight here. So let me know where you are. Let me know where you are. We are coming, as you know, from the great metropolis of Seattle. Very cold here. Very cold. Let me get my alarm so it does not go off. There you go. There you are. So, you know, when your boss humiliated you, it's to strip you of all dignity, because a humiliation can be a silencer. You don't know what to say. You don't know what to do. They got you at a vulnerable place, and sometimes you don't even know how to fight, because the humiliation discharges you, because you really don't know what to do, because you didn't expect that. Hello, Angela. How are you? Yeah, Mark was saying that they are humiliate their boss tried to humiliate them on the floor. And sometimes you can work for a narcissist, which is very, very, very difficult, because when you do business with a narcissist, work for a narcissist, there's never a place of compromise. There's never a place of right. They are filled with jealousy. They are filled with anger. They are not in the place of accountability. And so if you correct them, or they feel, you can just be suggesting something and they take it as correction. And if they feel like you're correcting them, then they get very, very angry. Hello there. How are you? Discerning 100. How are you? Thank you for joining me on this evening. Yes, so Angela, you know something about that, to be humiliated. So tell me, when you are humiliated, how does that feel to be humiliated? What is the first thing you know, Christina, when you are humiliated? She said, still on high from the conference. I need another one. I know we are working on it. The second one is going to be even more fantabulous, because we're going to do an inner healing conference. We're going to do an inner healing conference. I look forward when we can be together as a group and we can actually minister to each other. You know, that face to face and that touch has a lot of healing properties with it. A lot of healing properties with it. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about humiliation. When you are humiliated, what does the narcissist intend? What is an emotional fallout from being humiliated? You know, I know humiliation is a silencer. It's so shocking until it literally leaves you speechless. Hello there. She said shame. Absolutely. It leaves you shame. Shame makes you want to disappear. It makes you want to hide. So humiliation brings shame. So it causes you to disappear. Anything that causes you disappear, it shrinks your presence. It shrinks your strength. She said, wow. She said, Apostle, I am fine and thank you for asking. You are so welcome. And so humiliation, Mark said, it shrinks you. It makes you shame. Christina said yes. So Pinky, what is another attribute when they humiliate you? She said when they do, they want to discard you. Right. That is to bring you into a state of absence. Absence is to make you disappear. So when the narcissist want you present physically, but he want your strength, it's minimizing the maximum you. What humiliation does, it minimizes the maximum you because it shrinks you. You are there physically, but your mind has been toppled. Everything about you has been toppled. She said, I go into prayer. Absolutely. And see, what prayer does is put up a shield. It put up a fortress. It put up a wall. Mark say it make you feel less than enough. Yeah. It start to diminish you. So it shrinks you. It causes you to disappear, and it diminish you. So when you are being humiliated, look what the narcissist's intent is: to shrink who you are, to cause you to disappear while you're present, and to minimize you. So when you are minimized, nothing you do can ever add into any forum. So when the narcissist wants you to disappear, he humiliates you. And the more public it is, she said, it scares me. Oh yeah. So fear, it brings in fear. She said, shut the spirit down and then turn it back on them. Yeah, but you have to watch at that moment when you turn it back on the narcissist. And what you can do is maintain yourself. I'm very careful of what I do in return because it could go to revenge, and revenge has a backfire. She's a deer in headlights feeling, loss of words. That's why that silencer, it will silence you. When you get humiliated by the narcissist, you have to watch it, because the first thing you do once you come out of the shock, once you come out of the shame, what usually settle? Anger. And when you get angry, what do you want? Revenge. And when you get revenge, you start acting like the narcissist, doing what the narcissists do. So if you don't like the residuals of what the narcissist is doing, you're not going to like the residuals from the fallout if you do it. So you have to watch vengeance. How do you get back at someone without losing who you are or being revengeful? And revengeful has a kickback to it, and that kickback is horrific. And Pinky said, she said, definitely I feel shame and shrink like a mushroom. Absolutely. That's the whole intention, to deminimize you, because remember, the narcissist is a controller. Anything to bring you back under their regime and back under their control, because they're a dictator. That's what they want. They want to shrink you. They want to silence you. They want to shame you. They want you to disappear. They want to discard you. They want to minimize you. So all of those things has a minus in it, and none of that has a plus in it. And if it has no plus in it, you don't gain anything. You don't gain anything. So after the narcissist minimize you, after you shrink, look what he's dealing with. Look what you're left with. You are left with disappearance. You are left with shame. You're left with fear. You're left with never enough. You are never, 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 never enough for a narcissist. And the narcissists always have to be in the forefront. As a matter of fact, you may notice when you start to come up, when you start to increase, when you start to prevail in things, the narcissist goes to shame. The narcissist goes to humiliation, because humiliation puts you back in your place. And when you get back in your place, then the narcissist start to settle into feeling more comfortable with you as long as he can cause you to disappear. And humiliation too will cause you to isolate. It will cause you to isolate from people because you have a tendency to believe what the narcissist say. And the narcissist is so grandiose until you don't realize that you're feeding into that, and you're feeding them, making them feel they're better than anybody, because a lot of times you want to please the narcissist while the narcissist is humiliating you. You're walking on eggshells because as he humiliate you, a lot of times, unless you do what Angela say, just turn it back on them, a lot of times you take that and you take that as something being wrong with you. And when you feel like something being is wrong with you, you start feeding the predator. She said definitely. And this is like Pinky said. Pinky said, well, I feel like a mushroom. I feel like I don't matter. I feel like I don't have value. And that's why he devalue you. Take away everything that has any price to it, any meaning to it, any structure to it. So if you are destructure, it's chaos. So what humiliation does too, it causes chaos. Can you imagine your mind thinking, your mind going, and it's chaotic in your mind, and it's chaotic with someone you care about. It's chaotic with someone you love. And Christina said, yes, not taking revenge is hard. She said, I felt so embarrassed and confused. She said, I kept thinking about God and would pray and say, vengeance belongs to the Lord. Yeah. She said, God can get him worse than I can. Absolutely. And it is difficult. Like Angela said, you have to turn it. And how you turn things on a narcissist is through the maintenance of who you are. But how can you maintain who you are? She said, I don't allow that spirit to take over. Absolutely. Absolutely. And see, what happened is you cannot maintenance a narcissist. You can't maintenance a narcissist. So even if you make a stand, as long as you're with the narcissist, you're going to find yourself overworked. It's like if you drive a car and drive a car and drive a car and drive a car, you soon have to pull over. You let that car rest. You let that car settle. Even if nothing wrong with it, you don't keep driving the car non-stop unless you reach your destination. You get out of the car and you let the car rest. The narcissists never let you rest. They are restless, so they never let you rest. It's always one drama after another drama. And I think one of the worst ones is humiliation, because it's a crushing spirit. It crushes you. It minimizes you. And see, even if you have strength and you constantly deal with that spirit, eventually there's going to be a collapse because there's no reprieve. You're constantly dealing. You're constantly dealing. And when you go to strength and you're constantly dealing with that spirit eventually start leaking your strength out. Hello, vibrant spirit. How are you? Thank you for joining us. And so even though you disallow that spirit, you got to realize what you're dealing with. Like you're in the house and the heat is on. As long as the heat on, everybody feels the heat. Now, once you turn the heat off, she said, tell it. Once you turn the heat off, then everybody feel the offness of the heat. Whatever you're connected with, you are affected by. So the narcissist, what happened when the narcissist, if you wound the narcissist too much, the narcissist is going to leave because they need fuel and they can't be around you. If you gray rock the narcissist will not stay. They cannot stay. So they have to leave because the narcissist is like a vampire. The vampire needs blood. The narcissist need fuel. They will have to have fuel. You can't gray rock a narcissist continuously and keep them. The narcissist will leave the place, go find fuel, and they'll come back. So they discard the house and they leave. They make a reason to discard that house and they leave, and then they begin to come back. Why? Because now they done went out to fuel, and the narcissists hate to give up that primary supply. The primary supply is the heartbeat of the fuel. The kind of fuel they give is different. And so when there's too much hostility, when there's too much lack of a fuel, you're going to lose the narcissist. They will not stay. They cannot stay because there's no fuel, and they live off of fuel. So not having fuel is like not having a heart. You can't live without a heart. So you have to make, especially those of you who find yourself living with the narcissist, you have children together, or you are with the narcissist, you have business, and it's not so easy to leave. She said that's why he work all the time and then come back. You know, Angela, that seemed like a plan, but your plan won't work too long. That's a fantasy, because he can work all the time, but the little time they're there, there's so much hell until you want them to work forever. They can't work forever. You are human, and you have emotions, you have sympathy, and they are without empathy, and they are without the kind of emotions you deal. So a lot of times I read on YouTube, sometimes you listen to program and people tell you how to manage a narcissist. You cannot manage a rebel. You cannot manage a renegade. You cannot manage chaos. You have to take chaos and put chaos in order, because chaos is what it is. It's discombobulating. It dismembers. It disorganizes. It dispute. It's darkness. And so when you are dealing with darkness, the only way darkness leave, the Bible said, is through light. So you can't manage chaos. She said it's really hard to react in a malicious way toward the narc once your brain comes out of the fog and realize the treatment was wrong. Yeah, you know why? Because you have empathy and sympathy. When you have sympathy or you have empathy, you feel bad for doing people wrong. You feel bad even if they weren't the wrong that was done. You still feel bad because you actually care. See, the narcissist does not care. They don't feel bad. And sometimes they've done so much damage, not even the people who are with the narcissist feel bad. But you cannot allow yourself to grow cold because of a narcissist, because especially those of you who have a spiritual relationship, your spiritual relationship with God will suffer. She said, I went supernova and escaped and left some of my things and haven't went back. Yeah, let me see how to pronounce your name. Is that, how do you pronounce your name? Is that Chel Babe Mac? I think that's how I'm saying it. She said, I meant to say it's hard not to of course, it is, because you're human. And you will react. Oh, no, you will react. You will react out of just self-respect. You will react because you're reacting instead of responding. So it's automatic. It's almost reflective. They beam at you. You reflect that action back to them, but you feel bad afterwards. And when you, the only way you don't feel bad, I did a video. It's called the neutral zone of the supply, the neutral zone of the ultimate supply. She said, I don't know how to care. Vibrant said, I don't know how to care. Vibrant, do you have children with them? Yeah. So do you have children with the narcissist, or is it just you and the narcissist? Do you have children with the narcissist, or is you and the narcissist? Hey, it's me. She said, not worse to worship their laziness after a while. She said, but hate to be active and even enjoy activity. Yeah, there are some narcissists that are very lazy. And you know, usually when it comes to that, because the greater narcissist is using their mind to contrive more expansion of territory. When you get into the greater narcissist, they're about accomplishment. They're goal oriented. They want more territory. So they get out in the business world or the relationship, and they're adding to themselves. And when you get into the mid narcissist is more aggressive with business, and they're getting more into the cerebral, coming out of the physical, unless you're dealing with the lower mid grade and the lower grade. When you deal with the lower grade and the lower mid grade narcissists, they are quick because they're reactionary. They are quick to go physical on you. And it's just instinctive that they go, because a lot of times their mind can't think as fast as an upper mid grade or a greater narcissist. The greater narcissist is a thinker. They don't, a lot of times they don't sleep because they've done so much damage to you until they got a problem sleeping. And so when they humiliate you, they have no problem sleeping. As a matter of fact, if you look at the narcissist, when he's humiliating you, there's this little cocky grin on their face, this little sly grin on their face. They are being fueled from what they done, and it's a maximum fuel. Your pain really increased their fuels. She said, yes, I have children. See, when you are in a situation where you're a family, you just can't leave. So you are learning how to deal in that situation. You're learning how to manage life, though you can't manage the narcissist. You can't manage another human being that has a will. Even if if you're not a narc, you can't be managed by someone else. The narcissist try to manage you. He has to break you down in order to manage you. He has to break you down in order for you to submit and surrender. And so the process of the narcissist, they use humiliation as a breaking mechanism, because the more you are humiliated, the more they can break you down, the more they can diminish you. Remember, it makes you feel like you want to disappear. She said, this is very true. Instead of blowing up on people when they try me, she said, I try my best not to blow up, because although I know they deserve it, she said, I know I can be crushed, but I will feel so guilty afterwards. That's because you care. We're caring beings. We're caring beings. And then the Bible said, whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. You don't want to sow what you don't want to come back at you. Because if the narcissist sow and it comes back at him, if you sow, it'll come back at you too. Humiliation, that doesn't mean you don't correct. Because a lot of times we think that people should just do us wrong and we don't say anything. No, I don't like it when you do that. You need to tell them, this violate my space. This violate my territory. I'm asking you not to do that. And when they do that, then you have to go to a measure that is going to protect you. And it may be a harsh measure, but it's done without revenge. It's done with respecting your territory. She said, because he works around where I live, it's really hard for me. I get so many different feelings and emotions. I really need to learn how to gray rock them. Okay, we're going to talk about that. She said, insane. Absolutely. She said, the narc smirks, a classic sign. Exactly. She said, yeah, it's really a gross feeling. I know you almost feel like your stomach is on fire and you want to regurgitate. She said, he works around the block for me. That is terrible. She said, I correct him and he talks and he tell me I talk too much. Absolutely. And it's not that you talk too much. They don't want the accountability. And so the narcissists get really irritated because you're bringing them into a level of accountability. And the thing is, humiliation. Remember, the narcissists train you to accept punishment on a long-term basis. This, especially when you are the primary source. Now, when you just supply and the narcissist is in and out, he's not going to allow you to disrespect him, but there may be some tolerance because they know they're leaving, and so they don't really care. But long-term supply, they do care. And Vibrant Spirit say, yes, I have much better self-control. And he hates it. And he loves to provoke you for fuel, of course. And Aaron said, hello, Helen. Thank you. Thank you, Erin. She said, and it's crazy how they come around and suck the energy out of everything. Yeah, they're energy drainer. She said, accountability makes them want to snap. Absolutely, because to them, accountability is control. So they don't want accountability. That's why when they feel control, what do? Humiliate you, bring you to shame, devalue you, shrink you, make you disappear out of a spot, even though you're physically there. All of your emotions, all of your dignity is gone. The narcissist specialize in humiliating you because they specialize in controlling you. I have a video called transcription and translation. The transcription is when the narcissists rewrite codes on your mind, and they can do cold things, say cold words. If you notice, there's certain things the narcissists say, it triggers you. I mean, it blows you off the roof because the narcissists have trained you to codings. Christina said, Mark, I get angry when I think about how he was smiling and smirking on his face. She said, I perceive as one. She said, but now I know it was a smile of lies, laughter, and foolishness. And people, it's embarrassing and it hurts. Absolutely. She said, yep, they have temper tantrums. She said, that's why he keeps saying, you are not my mom. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes a narcissist is a self-inflicted individual who has been tortured and traumatized or neglected to the point where they disappeared. See, you're not dealing with the narcissist. The narcissist is a sum total of all the people he met. That's what he thinks life is. And that's why they can live in a different arena. They live in an alternate world because sometimes this world is too harsh. Like the young lady was saying, sometimes they have I think that was Vibrant Spirit, saying sometimes they have temper tantrums. They act like children. Why? Because they cannot live without an alternate world. The stress of them not having their way is too much for them to handle. And so they feel a narcissistic injury when they can't get their way. She said, hello there, how are you, Shama? Thank you for being with me. I'm so glad to have you on board. They cannot get their way, and because they cannot get their way, they're upset, and they can become very, very hostile. And a lot of times when you control them, like Angela, when he was saying, you are not my mom, you are taking them back to a point of remembrance where it hurts. And that's when you get the violence of the narcissist, and they go out and they start to triangulate. She said, yeah, they're crazy. Yeah, well, that can be a word for it. But they are narcissists. They have NPD. All of the criteria in order to bring them to that diagnosis is available in character, is demonstrated in their action and in their lifestyle. So what you have to do, you have to know who you're with, because sometimes we violate codes by thinking they're regular people and they're not. She said, slick. She said, that's why you are comparing me. She said, like, why are you comparing me to your mom? Yeah, disillusional, toxic humans. They are. They are. They are big babies. They live in an alternate world. They are self-centered. They have to have their way. Is their way or the highway. They've not had anything else. And as they grew older, they got used to manipulating and controlling people. They got used to gaslighting and word salad. They got used to taking conversation and twisting them, creating a world of chaos. And there's so much debris in the air until people don't know what to believe. They talk by codes. That's why when a narcissist talk to you, and I'm going to do the language of the narcissist, which is a video I'm going to do. And see, this video tells you to be careful. You got to hear the many times you're not listening to them. They're telling you what they're going to do. They're telling you, but they're telling you in code, and you're hearing it in your language. You're hearing it in your understanding. That's not the way they're speaking. That's just the way you're hearing it. And Shama said, word salad. Oh, yeah. If you ever got word salad by a narcissist, you will know, because they're saying stuff, it don't make sense. She said, and they try to make you out to be a bad person. Right. But the thing is, remember, what drew them to you was your kindness, your goodness, and your purity. Everything they thought they were not, that's what you drew them. And then once they get you and your humanity is there, because they feel like a failure. And once you make a mistake, they think you are human. Then the attack comes, the mask come off, then the devaluation comes. But when they first get you, you're perfect. You can do no wrong. Why? Because your perfection is reflected to them. It calms them down. It makes them feel better. And so this is why when the narcissists humiliate you, they're talking to you about themselves and not about you. You're getting the backlash, or you are getting the frustration of the narcissist and they take it out on you. That's why they smile. It's a little kid that makes sure everybody else is miserable, and then they're over in the corner with this smirkish smile. Why? Because they're really miserable, and they are telling you that's their communicative system. They are telling you that's their language. And so humiliation, they are talking. When the narcissist is doing stuff, listen to their language, listen to their coding. You are feeling humiliated, and while you feel humiliated, you turn all your stuff into you, how you feel and how the narcissist do you. The narcissist is going to do it again. A narcissist is a narcissist. And all these videos telling you how you manage a narcissist, how you can't manage a narcissist. If you could, the doctors would have did it long ago, and they would tell you that they are changeable because they can be managed. If I can manage a restaurant, I can control the flow of that restaurant. I can control what happens. I can control how things are flowing in and out. You cannot control a narcissist. Like when once you refuse to be controlled, a narcissist can't control you. You will escape before you do that. You will just say, I'm done. And that's why when people gray rock, and gray rock is when you feel numb, you refuse to give out. But how can you do that sometimes? It's very difficult when you love someone and they are hitting all of those triggers and you are learning. Gray rock has to be practiced where you walk around numb as a human. That doesn't make sense a lot of times, but you can turn things off and on. And that's the way you have to do with the narcissist. You have to turn them off. You can't leave them on. You leave a narcissist on, you're going to get hurt over and over and over again. And those of you who are living with a narcissist, who think you can control a narcissist, who think you can go without hurt, you're disillusioned and deceiving yourself. Because even if you think that, then I know you're hurt right now. I know you're wounded right now because you can't control the narcissist. And many of you think, well, I'm going to win and prevail over this narcissist. No, the narcissist is a narcissist. He'll go out and do his damage and come to you, and you don't bother him because he don't love you like that. You're fuel. He's going to protect his fuel and not his love. And sometimes what bothers us is we can't believe that he don't love us, because when they're love bombing you, they go through all the motions of love. They learned that. Part of that was from you. They learned it from you. They learned it from all the other supply, all the other people that they were with, the people they watched how they love them. They watch how they care for them. Even when they humiliate them, they watch how they return to them, because the prey has learned to return to their predator. And that's why the narcissist is humiliating you, because he's teaching you to return to the hand that slapped you and eat out of it. And see, that's where the confusion, that's how you get cognizant dissonance, when they are slapping you and feeding you, and then after a while you find yourself excusing the slap and really praising the eating. But you got scars, your teeth are hanging, your lips are big, and you are still eating out of their hand, but you know the slap is coming. You cannot control a narcissist, and the narcissist will find a way of humiliating you. And when they feel empty, when they feel bad about themselves, right out of the blue, they come up with this craziness. Like the young lady was saying, they come up with this craziness and they project that toward you. She said, yes. She said, because he rises in your spirit. She said, and that eye contact can do a lot. She said, in the past, I've been, she's waking up with panic attacks, popping out of nightmares, and really, they can really mess you up. See, that they're getting in, you're being transcribed. When the narcissist get in your mind, and your body's telling you you're being tortured, and you know you have to watch that. You really have to watch. Your body talks to you. Your body's telling you they can't, it's too much. Your body's saying, I need a break. And so you're having a panic attack because it seems like all the walls are closing in. All the problems are closing in. And when you feel like you're nothing, when you feel like you disappeared, when you feel like you were shrinking, like all the stuff that we were saying, you feel like you are devalued, you feel like you're invisible with a person there. And when you're looking at them, it's always some negative, some negative. And if you have children, you're trying to speak positive to your children while you are getting negative. And if you don't watch it, you start speaking that same language to your children. You'll start telling them everything they're not. And you really have to catch yourself, because you are being transcribed. You're being transliterated. Where it's coming out of your mouth, your whole mindset is being rewritten. Your psyche is being rewritten, but it's all negative. It's about what the narcissists say, and your love for them is outweighing their value for you. So you have to go undervalue in order to be at the level of keeping them, of handling them. And sometimes what it takes to keep them can kill you. What it takes to hold them is taking your body through stress, taking your body through trauma until you don't even look like yourself anymore. And Mark say, and the harassment department at work wonder why I was gray rocking my coworker. Yeah, you were surviving. She said cognizant, exactly, dissonance is painful. It's very painful. She said, yes, and they can mentally affect you. They can. And the body keeps score. It does, even when you don't. She said, I changed my number and moved out. Applause. Yay. Good girl. And all you got to do is stay no contact unless you have children. Then you can't do that. Because the court will give you a parenting plan for that child, and you have to keep that parenting plan unless you can prove that the narcissist is damaging and harmful to the child. If you can't, they're going to split their visitation rights, and they're going to have rights to that child. And this Tanya say, amen. And then Aaron say, do they choose to be this way? She said, or is it this bloodline related? No, it's not. It's not bloodline related. It's trauma related. She said 6 months, no contact, and I'm healing through the grace of God. Yay, good job, Shamaji. But no, it is not, Aaron. It is not blood related. Not at all. It's trauma. Somehow they receive trauma. Even when you got the golden child, people think the golden child is a child that, I don't know whether any of you know. Well, let me just keep it like this. The golden child is the child that gets everything. But what happened is the narcissist parent lives that life of that child. They reward them for let them live their lives through that child. They reward them with all of these reward systems, but they have no life. They have no say so, who they date, what they do. That narcissist is always running and guiding their life. So what they all the things they ever wanted to be, they be through that child, and that child is traumatized. And soon you grow weary because you have a right to your own life, and your parent has taken your life away 24/7. You are on watch 24/7. You have to be on lockdown 24/7. You have to be accountable. And now you raise from a child to adult. They raise you like that, and sometimes you start to rebel. And when you start to rebel against the narcissist remove your rights, and you start caving in because you do understand that it's a luxurious benefit package. So you start yielding to the narcissist. The narcissist become a narcissist because of trauma. You know, their trauma, or they were never held in accountability. And so a child that is never held in accountability feel like their parent don't love them. Why? Because they don't put no boundaries. You just let me do whatever I want to do. Why? Because you're not there. You don't want to be there to stop me. You don't want to be there to raise me. You don't want to be there to train me. So the child hate and despise the parent for this absentee party, and they go within themselves. And now they got a child that always have to have their way. The child now is grandiose. The child feel like nobody's better than them, not even God, because that child is messed up, and that child has been altered forever. It takes a very strong force of power in order to delete that. And I know that a lot of medical facilities tell you that narcissism is not reversible, and medically that is true. But who can go against the power of God? I would not sit around and pray that God changed them and you keep going through, because the problem we have with the narcissist is they don't want to change. She said, mine started the word salad. She said, and Hoover over and Hoover and what's that? Hoover after the ghost. I was so confused confused back then and said, you need to have emotional intelligence. Call me tomorrow or I'm blocking you. Then he called magically. You know, the narcissist does whatever it takes to keep their supply. If you notice, if many of you have had the narcissist to leave and beg to come back, or had the narcissist to leave after totally humiliating you, and then you let them back in, you went through the same trauma. There was no change. Even though they told you 1,000 times they was going to change. How can they change you? That's them. You can only get who they are. And if that's who they are, it doesn't matter if you want them to change. They're not going to change. They're going to remain the same. And your life going to remain under pressure. And you're going to have a lot of physical complications because of the stress level, the psychological level. The narcissist is going to always return with the same problem, the same humiliation. And remember, humiliation decreases you, it shrinks you, it brings you where the narcissist can handle you, because the narcissist can handle you in your strength and in your strongness. Why? Because you're going to cause a narcissistic injury. And when you cause a narcissistic injury, you put the narcissist on the run. Like the young lady said, I went supernova. Yeah, but look how long it took you to recover from all of that energy release. She said, I got my kid 100%, no court. She said, and I appreciate it. It is a rare occurrence. You know what, Billy the Goat? It really, really, really is. She said, my gold child and sister drove my mother to her death. She is wicked. Oh, okay, so she is the narcissist's favor. She said, we all have a choice. Yeah, that is true, vibrant spirit. We do have a choice, but when you give your choice up and you don't know you gave your choice up, you have to fight for your will back. She said, my mother spoiled her, and now she's a narc. Oh my God. She said, I was the golden child, then the black sheep, and my brother became the golden. She said, and was threatened with my mom. She said, threatened with my mom. She said, well, my brother's getting everything when she dies, as she said, as I began healing. Yeah, it can turn out that way. She said, you are not alone. This is Shama. She said, the narc works around the clock she said, like a fox. She said, you've even watched a fox walking. She said, it struts the forest with a smirking smile as is on its face. And it could fool you into thinking it was a friendless, homeless animal. Absolutely. And Nicole says here, so true. She said they treat you in the ways that show you hate so much, so you feel their hate completely, and yet they won't leave. Why not? Yeah, of course. Hey, let's talk about that. Why won't the narcs leave? Because the narcs is after convenience. It's cheaper to live with you than to live on their own. But they have no intent of changing. They have no intent of changing. They want their cake and eat it too. They want the icing on the cake. They want the cake and they want to eat it too. But they don't want to just eat it. They want you to serve the slice. That is the narcissist, to make their life more convenient at your expense. She said, me too. She said, I'm still pushing on. And so, humiliation is devaluing. How many of you have been humiliated by the narcissist in front of your family or in front of his family? And if you have, what did you do when that happened? What did you do when that happened? What did you do when the narcissist humiliated you in front of the family or in front of your friends? I know we was talking earlier, Mark, and some others on the line, and we was talking about when you are humiliated by the narcissist, you shrink, you disappear, you feel like you just don't matter, you feel like that you can never do nothing right. She said it's all a game to them. Everything they do is a game. Everything they do is a game. So when the narcissists come to you, be ready to play. It's like chess. Whoever can get the checkmate. So the narcissists hate to lose, so they'll do everything to get the checkmate. at the expense of you at all costs. She said, what scares me for the future is that you never know that someone is a narc until you spend about 3 months with them. She said, and they are everywhere these days. Shama says, I think that is funny. And this is Aaron. Aaron said, I simply cut contact. It was painful because that's when I knew that this person totally hates me, wasted years and many tears. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, if they can't love you, what can they give you? They can only give you time using you because you can't give me love. No matter, even if you marry, you didn't marry me for love. So I'm not going to get love even in a marriage. It's a wasted time in a marriage because you never loved me for love. So why did you marry me? For convenience, for supply, for fuel, and somebody to be with, because a lot of times narcissists are very image conscious. They care about what people think about them, and they try to win people over. And once they win people over, it's torture and torment because they really don't care about the people that they won. It's the fact that they won them over. And like she said, it's a game. Everything they do is the game. It's the game narcissists play. They play with your mind. They play with your will. They play with your emotion. They play with your life. Your life is spendable to them. Their life is not. And they feel like you should be really, really, really glad to have them. This is why they humiliate you, and they do it without a second thought. They do it. They don't relent. They make sure that they accomplish their goal, because the worse it is in your humiliation, the better they feel. And if you stay with their humiliation, they feel good that you would pay such a price for them, because narcissists want to be worshiped. They want the total ownership. And you said, no, I'm not going to worship that narcissist. Oh, really? Then what have you already put in the place of God? You have to strip that narcissist of all his God's right. And if you do that, more than likely you're going to end the relationship, because they won't stay. There will be no reason to stay. If a narcissist is staying with you, that's because they're getting something out of the relationship. And you got to remember the qualities of a narcissist. Their grandiosity. They feel like you're entitled. They feel like that you should feel privileged. They're better than anybody else. They're not accountable. They're irresponsible. So all of these things that the narcissists have, the narcissists feel that you should be mighty grateful to have them, that they even want to be there for you. It's crazy, but it's the truth. And then Shama said, you cannot play in the mud with the pigs. Ooh, that's a good one. That is a good one. And Sky said, he did it in front of my children and they took his side even into adulthood. See? Because the kid is so vulnerable. The kid will go to the parent that they don't get the most, or they will go to the most manipulative parent. And a lot of times that's why the mom gets so perturbed when the children seem to care for the dad. They don't have the dad. They want the dad. When you are hungry, you eat. But when you are full, it doesn't matter what they put before you. You will not even budge. While you are full, you don't desire any food. Where the food that is missing is the parent that is missing, the attention that is missing. And so they always go to please the missing parent. And then if the father is missing, and that's the way the children is. The children love you both, and they don't see the narcissist yet. They don't see where they are being manipulated. They don't see, and when the children are humiliated by the narcissist, they excuse them. Oh, dad is having a bad day. Mom is having a bad day. And so they are there to love mom and dad again. Only the narcissist holds that and don't care, don't give in, and don't cave in. Only the narcissist. What do we have here? And she said, narcs are parasite, yes, and they bore into healthy skin. She said, so true. She said, he constantly told me he was, what was that, a reach compared to other men. And, oh, yeah, absolutely, like you should be glad to have him out there, and you won't find me. He thought he was God's gift for sure. Absolutely. They feel like you're very privileged. He said, and it's definitely a test dealing with these type of toxic people. It is. She said, yep. She said, they are everywhere, and I found this. She said, I found this out this year, and I have been encountered quite a few narcissists. And she said, mainly family. She said, and I cut them off in quickness. She said, I wish these narcs would leave me alone. What happened is you're going to have to demagnetize. When you demagnetize, you take out the frequency. Once you've been with one, you have to demagnetize. And when you stay no contact, that can happen. You demagnetize the frequency, your language change, your desires change. And once you change and what you desire into your life is going to change. So you will have a different frequency. You won't draw narcissist people. You would draw people that love, people that care, people that benefit you. You would draw other things when you demagnetize from the narcissist. And that's what needs to happen. You need a magnetization from the narcissist. She said they are demons in human form and it's spiritual warfare from day one. She said once you learn them and let some time pass in the healing, he said you would then realize that they were on a hamster wheel and they wanted to put it on you too. It's a vicious cycle. It goes round and round and round and round, and it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It keeps going. It keeps on going. It keeps on going. It keeps going. And most of you know this because you didn't spend, it started off as 5 months, then went to 2 years. Next thing you know, you were 10 years in. Now you 55. Now you 70 years old. And you're still looking at an unchangeable source that you done actually went through all of these years. And you got to remember, the longer you stay with the narcissist, the longer the narcissist train you to handle the pain. And as you handle the pain, you become numb to the pain. So what really hurt you at first, it don't hurt you now like that. You know that it's wrong, you know that it's bad, but you done got to a tolerable state. You can tolerate the pain, so you start permitting more and more. You start allowing more and more because you start desensitizing to one thing that used to just drive you batty. It doesn't anymore because you have desensitized. You can handle it. So your tolerance of handling it more and more pain through because you have desensitized to the pain that it caused originally. And so that's how you get long-term relationship with narcissists. And sometimes you be with a narcissist for 50 years, but on the 51st year, you say, I'm done. I can't take it anymore. Or the narcissist just discard. The narcissist been with you for 75 years. One day he just discard. The agent narcissist, go to my videos and look for the agent narcissist. They got different characteristics. They breed different characteristics. You are never safe with a narcissist because a narcissist can be with you for 50, 60 years. And the 61st year, they leave everything. They give up everything. They go to some young. Humiliation again, that humiliation tie. The narcissist use humiliation as a strong servitude in your life. And he used it to break you down. You have to learn submissive, and you learn submissiveness over time. When a narcissist has been with so many women till there's a harem of women that he had experiences with, they now know what they're doing. They know how to train your mind. They know how to train your will. They know how to train your life. And soon your life is projected through a system of codings that the narcissist has inaugurated in your life. And Aaron says, right. And Christina said, mine's phase was you give me peace of mind. And I told the other girls that through you. Okay, I was trying to read that. I didn't understand that, Christine. She said, once you question him, then they get enraged. She said, I figured him out. Absolutely. You know, I just want you to know the seriousness. The narcissist is not the worst thing. They definitely not the best thing. But I want you to be careful of when you're dealing with a narcissist. You know, they are humans. They are distorted humans. And the properties that is attached themselves, that spirit that has attached themselves to that narcissist is diabolical. And it's very, very evil. And it's pervasive in wanting to hurt you. And so to hurt you emotionally, that some of them are not physically. They're psychologically. They demean you. They strip you. Every time you get something, you gain something, they get involved. They strip you of it. You would never have anything if they know you have it. If they know you got it. The narcissist can be quite challenging. They are definitely interrupters of peace and silence. They are interrupters of success. Whatever your success story is, once you get with a narcissist, your story will change. They are history changers. They're going to give you a different story. They're going to give you a different aspect of your life, because the sorrow and the pity that goes in their life, the narcissist is going to bring in your life. She said, I met him at 15, married at 19, stayed 18 years, just recently found out he was a narcissist and he was a covert. Yeah, one of the greatest one, because everything they do is undercurrent. And usually a covert narcissist is liked by everybody outside while you're going through hell in your own house. He's very, 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 or she's very charming. She said the rage is nothing nice. No, especially when you have the narcissist, that's the lower grade, lower mid grade, or you have a psychopath or sociopath, a malignant narcissist. These people can be very dangerous. So when they threaten you, please don't take it lightly. Get out of there. Get away from them. Don't call them. Get away. Because a lot of times a narcissist will say, I'm going to do this. And a lot of times they keep their word. So if you are threatened, you can see if you can get a junction against him to stay out of your vicinity, or you can get which is a protection order, or you can leave and go where nobody knows where you are. Because when you have a malignant narcissist, they'll trail you. They'll follow you every place. They will stalk you. And a lot of times when you've been with the narcissist, they have bugged your phone, bugged your house. They know everything you're doing. They know every place you go. They put a little tracker on the card. So you wondering, how in the world do they know all of this? And you're thinking it's through osmosis, or God must know. God didn't talk to them. Your car is bugged. Your phone is bugged. They can get mechanism now that is the size of a pencil head and put it under your car, and you can be tracked. So you have to be careful. When a narcissist tell you they're going to do something and you feel that they're going to do it, then please go into protecting yourself. She said being around a malignant narcissist, just by them speaking, feels like they are trying to tear your heart from limb to limb. Absolutely. And this is Aaron. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the narcissists need rage. The narcissists need negativity. They can't handle something positive because they feel like they living with holes within themselves. Everything they put in themselves has no bottom, so it falls straight through. That's why they keep feeding, trying to fill those holes. There's no way to fill them. And humiliate you, make them feel good and make them feel wonderful. Your pain is their satisfaction. Sky said, and they use children as flying monkeys to spy on you. And see, that's why you have to really cover your children. You have to spend time with your children, because remember, the children start craving what they don't have. But if you fill them with love and make sure you are there for them, make sure you hear them. So when the narc try to pull them, he can't, because they feel loved and protected by you. And especially you have kids that feel like they need to protect their mom. They will always protect you. They will always, always, always protect you. And then the narcissist say something, they will come back and say, Mom, Dad said this, and they'll prepare you for things. Of Mom, we went out and there was this woman got in this car and Dad said this and she said this. And so they will always protect you. And so you have to make sure that you cover them. And it can be quite difficult when you have somebody as malignant as the narcissist. Well, you know what? She said they deter you off things, right? She said without you knowing it, that keep you stressed so that you can't achieve anything, because your brain and your body is busy shutting down to protect you the whole time. You have no idea. That's why when you stay with a narcissist can be physiologically inhibiting. They can affect you. They did a sonogram. On the sonogram, they took the woman and put her up and began to scan her body parts, her brains, her stomach, her heart, different things of her body. And the narcissist, they noticed that when the narcissist came in the room, she just started, everything went amok. But when the narcissist left out of the room, she started to calm down. So the narcissist can have a physical effect. That's why when you fill the car up and when they have humiliated you and devalued you so, and as soon as the car pull up, you don't know whether to fight or flight. And then you are nervous, you're sweating, your stomach is upset, you have a headache, have backache, little aches and pains, just because they come around. She said, hello there, Camila. How are you? Thank you so much. She said, trying to hang in there with you. You're hanging in there with me, Camilla. She said, and Aaron says, during the beginning of the phases of healing, she said, I had so much emotions of wanting to revenge against them. One of the first thing out the discard is pain, hurt. You're broken down. You're painful. And then the second thing is, what have I done wrong? How could it have worked? You start that blame game. Then the third thing, you was wondering, how did I end up with that? How did I get caught? Where were my signs? Then you start getting angry. How could they be so malicious? How could someone do me like that? That really care about me? Angela said, through prayer, I have peace, the peace of God. Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe that. And that anybody been with a narc knows the phases that we go through. Anybody been with a narcissist. And God is a keeper. But one thing God does, the Bible says he will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed up on you. But I'm going to tell you something. Anybody can interrupt your world and you can deal with it. You can deal with it. You can keep God's peace while you deal with it. That don't make your environment better. It doesn't make the narc better. When you're dealing with people with cluster B relationship, it is what it is. And you have to teach people how to deal in that relationship. They are flying debris. No matter how much peace you got flying debris, you still duck or you'll get hit. You know what I mean? God is able to keep you. But when you live with a narcissist, that peace is going to be challenged. You can keep that peace, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to be challenged. They will challenge your world because there ain't no such thing as living harmoniously with a narc. That don't happen. That's why they're narcissists. That's why we got a whole program, because they got behavior modes that they are going to do. You know, they're going to bring you out of your peace, and you can make up in your mind to go back there in that peace, because the peace of God is greater than whatever they do. And God's peace will keep you. The Bible says it will keep your heart and it will keep your mind. That means it'll put it on a steady place. But that doesn't mean it doesn't get interrupted, because a narcissist is an interruption. They will interrupt your world with their world. She said, hallucinations in the day and the night when you sleep. Hello, woman of God. Hello there, Debo. How are you? You know, I really believe that, especially narcissism, they get into mysticism, black magic, and sometimes the narcissists do that. Or some narcissists that know the entity is there and they have a relationship with that demon, and they bring that into the caliber. Wherever they go, you can feel the presence of that spirit with that narcissist, and they commune with that spirit through witchcraft or demonic coercion. And some of them allow the demon to inhabit them. Those who do that, your household is torturous. I mean, your atmosphere is lit. And so you have to do something about that. And God said that he gave us power and authority over all the power of the enemy. So it doesn't matter what the enemy does. It matters what we do in God, because we are the stronger one. We are the most powerful ones. And what God does, when Israel was in Egypt, God didn't leave them in Egypt and told them to follow Pharaoh and he would give them peace. No, God brought them out of the situation. God will bring you out so you can have everlasting peace, because interruption is interruptions. And those of you who have learned to live with your narc knew that you were on the phase of getting your peace, losing your peace, getting your peace, losing your peace, because they are interrupters. And when you care about somebody, they can affect how you are when you really care. Christina said, I had acid reflux every day and was popping pills as well as memory loss. She said, I couldn't figure out the correlation of what I was eating. She said, it wasn't until a video talked about sickness from a narc, then I knew. Absolutely. She said, and they hook up with someone who does witchcraft. Exactly. Python spirit. Yes, ma'am. They choke the life out of you. And some of you are feeling that, even as we've been talking tonight. Some of you are feeling that. You feeling like your life is being choked out. You feel like your life is being sucked out. These are energy drainers and life drainers. They drain the life out of you. Whatever strength you get, whatever mobility you get that God gives you to move you to the next place, they come in with suction valves to make sure that you need to recharge. Because every time you charge, they come in and get that energy and leave. And then you end up recharging until you live off of charges and instead of living off of sustainment. And so these charges is making sure you always having a temporary moment of charging, and then you will have a moment of something else where you are trying to get back what the narcissists have stolen. And you know, when you have a python spirit, pythons are not poisonous, but they choke their prey. They choke the life out of them. And with all movement, the harder they do that, they are restricting you. So they keep restricting you until you stop moving. And that's the way it is with a narcissist. The narcissist keep restricting you until you stop moving. When you stop moving, then he head first over your life to make sure that you never ever become viable again. He suck you down in the tunnel of darkness where you feel like you can't come out. A lot of people have broken behind narcissists. They on medication for the rest of their lives because they choose to be and not because they have to be, because of narcissists. And the narcissists have broken down their will until they need someone like myself or some of the other people on the video to help them come out, to begin to maneuver them out, to guide them out of every dark place, every negative place where they can be vibrant, where they can breathe again. And that's that python spirit. Debo, absolutely love it. She said, stay aware. She said, you don't want these problems. By the time you realize who they are, it's too late and the damage is done. Yeah, the damage is done to you and you will have to get to the recovery zone. She said, even though I escaped with no contact, I still think about them. Listen to this, an average of, if you've been with a narcissist, I mean really involved in a narcissist for 3 months, it usually takes 2 years. 2 years of therapy to get them totally out of your system. And every now and then they come across, but they are not like it's all the time. And until you get to that healing, you can think of them all the time. And if you've been with them 5 years, if 3 months take 2 years and you've been with them 5 years, you can think how much you would think of them, even though you may have been in another relationship, even though that relationship has been over, you are constantly thinking about the narcissist. Here, right here's what it said. She says, a python, Jezebel, Leviathan spirit, deadly trio. Absolutely. Absolutely. And remember that the python lives on its prey, but what it desires is to feel the breath stop. The python get its most exciting moment once they have squeezed their prey and they are no longer breathing. Then the python know that they have won. A white python spirit is after your breath. And the breath, the word breath means wind, pneuma. And that pneuma is the breath of God. It's the spirit. They're after your spirit. They want you to die. That's why the narcissist will go to church with you. The narcissist will go to business with you. There's churches, religious narcissists, just like there are non-religious narcissists. There are narcissists that are warlocks and witches. And all they want is your breath. Once you stop moving and been totally consumed, that's the greatest high for them. So you have to be wise. The Bible said he that winneth souls is wise. The Bible said that wisdom is justified of our children. That means wisdom is the principal thing. And when you walk in principle, you can walk in victory when you walk in wisdom. And you have to use wisdom when you have a relationship. Many of these narcissists marry you not because they love you. They marry you out of duty so they can have permanent supply. And when you are with them, they're not covenant. They're not faithful to the marriage because they don't honor the marriage covenant. You do. You honor the vow. They are just there. And just, if you were not married to them, they would be there. And they would discard you in marriage just like they'll discard you in dating. Everything is the same to them. They have their pattern. So when a narcissist humiliate you, what is the narcissist looking for? Your disappearance, your discard, your invisibility. They're pressing you down where you can't maximize yourself. They frustrate your growth. They inhabited you. They deform you. They defame you. They suck all the life out of you. All of this is done through humiliation. The humiliation narcissist that humiliate you is doing this intentional. How do you do this? By one thing, Angela's saying you can't allow yourself to be restricted. Prayer helps, but once you come out of prayer, there's something you have to do. God will always give you an instruction to take you to your next elevation. God will always give you an instruction to take you to your next elevation. So it's not enough just to know. It's not enough just to perceive. There's something you have to do. And instruction means there's something else to the next phase that connects you to your next moment of elevation. The narcissist humiliates you because he wants to destroy the beauty and the essence of who you really are, because most of the time they're jealous of you. She said, I was with the narc for 4 months. She said, living in my apartment. Wow. She said, and when you are under attack, you feel tired all the time. Yeah, because they're energy drainers. And that's what these energy drainers do. They suck the life out of you because they live on your life, not their life. Their life is filled with other lives that they've stolen, other lives that they're living, other lives that they're mirroring, other lives that they're projecting. If you want to know the narcissist, you have never met them. You've never met the narcissist. The narcissists, a lot of times, don't even know who they are, because you're living off of someone else's value system. Then once the narcissists know who they are, they know exactly what they're doing. They know their level of influence. They know their level of power, and they're using it to their maximum benefit, because the narcissists know that they're going to cause catastrophe. They do it, and they know there's no way around it. She said that they drain all of your energy as much as they can. They drain it. And Pinky, she said, that's anxiety and fear is real. She said, I still have no energy and deal with certain friends. She said, I'm in a hermit hole. She said, I'm in a hermit hole. Let me get that. And she's in seclusion. She said, and the conference gave me a feeling of connectedness and validity. I felt, Christina, that is so excellent. I am so glad that you're coming into yourself. You're coming into the unity of yourself. That was an amazing conference, but it was because there was amazing people that attend the conference. You have to spend time with your mind. Wherever your mind goes, you go. So you have to spend time. And I said to get a journal. Get a journal. Write in that journal. Journal your experiences. Dialogue with your journal. Your pen is the pen of a ready writer. Your pen can write out your desires. Your pen can write out your hearts. When you can't talk to anybody, you can talk to your journal. Your journal can be as truthful as your pen can write, because all of this is coming out of you. Your journal will talk back to you, and it will say what nobody else will say, because it would know what no one else know but God. So get a journal. Start communicating in your journal. Put your never, ever, ever leave your journal where the narcissist can get it, because now the narcissist will use all of that information against you. Take your journal in your journal, but take your journal, keep it in private places. Put it under the mattress. Don't let him see you, but put it somewhere where you know they can't get it. And every now and then, journal. Never journal when the narcissist is looking at you. Always journal alone. Always journal alone, because once the narcissist gets your inside information, it's going to be an inside attack. And Aaron said the pain that they dish out, they can't handle it. She said they receive it tenfold, and as long as they don't hold it in their hands and support. Oh, yeah. She said, I learned to draw good. Angela Walker said, I learned to draw, taught myself a whole skill. She said, and I enjoy drawing. She said, and they watch you like a hawk. They do. Because that's the only way they can win. That's their inside information. This is spying techniques. You are under surveillance, and they watch everything you do because that's all they got to use against you. Because when you come out, she said, "Mama, Helen told me to sleep with my Bible and a notepad." Yeah. And always write. Keep a notepad so you can journal. She said, "I didn't know that I could draw." See, that's self-discovery. You're discovering yourself, the beauty of yourself. Whatever you discover in your strength, you can keep it in your strength. And it won't be broken down. See, no matter what she does, the narcissist can take her drawing away. And that can be her escape pod. She get in her drawing, all of her go into her drawing. And that drawing will be a benefit to you because the better you get at it, after a while, you can even market it. She said they set up traps for you to walk right into them and create situations where you can emotionally react. They want to, she said, they want to spin that to show others and judge you like you're crazy. Yeah, absolutely. And Pinky said, Christina, she says, true. She said, I got so much out of the conference. It was a real treat. She said, I learned a lot about myself. It was comfortable. It was a comfortable safety zone for a change. And my environment is still kind of toxic. For a change, my environment is still. Oh, wow. You know what, Pinky K? Your environment may be toxic, but what happens is when you become more potent inside than the toxicity outside, you overthrow the toxicity. See, a lot of times we think that we just have to put up with things, but there are parameters that keep that narcissist there. Once the narcissist can't get fuel, once the narcissist cannot be fed by you, once the narcissist cannot humiliate you to overthrow you, I mean, you're gray rock. I mean, you're numb. I mean, he's get nothing. He won't stay. He can't stay. He have to have fuel. So sometimes it's not a matter of you leaving. It's a matter of you being and you becoming. Because when you be and you become, the narcissist knows that. And it's too much for them to remain because you are causing a sustainable narcissistic injury and they will have to leave. All right, my padre, I have spent my time. She said, yes, I want to market my drawing someday. And you know what, Angela, you will. You will. She said, my ex would stare at me in my sleep. You know why? Because he's sending codes and frequency. And if you'll notice, in your sleep, you will start having nightmares. Your dreams will start being interrupted. He's pondering how to torture you a little bit more, how to get at you a little bit more, how to humiliate you a little bit more. And that's why I say you have to spend time with your mind. Everyone that's on this site, please get you a journal, even if you can't write. If you write 3 words a day, that's 3 words that you have expressed in yourself. Learn how to communicate with yourself. Express those words. Journal if you have to. Journal that pain, or talk. Get you a tape recorder and just talk and talk 5 minutes. Make sure nobody's there. And you talk your messages to yourself and you encourage yourself and you can play back those messages. That's your strength. And sometimes when you play a message that you did 6 months ago and a message that you did today, you will see how much growth you have made from the strengthening yourself, talking to yourself, building yourself, believing in yourself. The Bible said we are fearfully and wonderfully made. What that word fearsome, that means awesome, fantabuloso you are to God. God knew what he was doing when he made you. With all that breakdown system that the narcissist has given you, now it's time to build you up. She said, yes, because this narc is still in the area where I live. It's extremely hard. So you know what, Pinky? Okay, what you got to do now, you're going to have to really, really, really build yourself up. You got to build up your mind. You got to build up your strength because if you love them, you see them, you're triggered. You're automatically trigger. And see, you're trying to get over your pain, but you're constantly seeing your pain. You're constantly triggered, and every trigger causes a fresh trigger. So you got this domino effect where you're not getting out of the fall because you're constantly being triggered. But I'm telling you that you can grow beyond any trigger. You can grow beyond any pain. But what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to build your mind. Your mind is like a machinery. It is a mechanism of power. And once you put in your mind what it takes to sustain you, you one day will look at that person and wonder, what was I thinking? You know, all of a sudden, they're not attractive anymore. You can see them and you're looking like, what was wrong with me? You was caught in that spell. And once you get out of the spell, they're no longer attractive. You don't want them. You don't think about them like that. You don't desire them. If you see them again, you could speak and keep going. Why? Because there's no tie between me and you, friend. Whatever we had was back then, and it's still there, and I'm over here. So you can keep it moving. Thank you. And that's the way you're going to be. Pinky K, it doesn't look like it will, but I promise you, stay with these videos. You know, girl, you know you got to stay with the videos. You know, you stay with them. You keep talking to yourself. You keep strengthening other people. And guess what? It's bye-bye, Jack, and don't come back. She said, this really gives you a new perspective on life. She said, I analyze so different now. She said, we see in people that others have no idea about. Absolutely. Pinky Kate said, the love is gone. I'm left with a horrific horror and still haven't forgiven myself. Oh, you have to forgive yourself. So true. She said, I want to desire. She said, I don't want to desire him at all. He's ugly on the inside. Good riddance. Absolutely. She said, once you are delivered, you will feel sorry for them and no longer. And she said, sorry for them because they need prayer. And that's exactly what we're going to do for them. Hey, my padre, I have come to the end of this program and it has been so fantabulous. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Hey, we're going to get through this. Pinky, it's hard, but that's only for now. But you got all of us holding up your arms. You got all of us cheering you on. We are on your side. Aaron and Mark, we're on your side. I got Debo. She is here and she is powerful. I got Angela. Come on here. Angela is here to help us. And we have each other, and Sky is here, and all the rest of you that are on. We can do it with each other. We do it better as a team. We refuse to be humiliated. You know, the prayer works. Believe in it. Feed your mind. Get books. Read powerful books. Don't get books about stories that you're going through. Get books that's going to encourage you right now. You need confessional books about your greatness, your power, so you can stimulate your belief system back. And then get a journal or get a tape. Talk to yourself or write about yourself. You are greater and more powerful than you've ever known. Yeah, Angela Walker, you are so right. We do it better as a team. Mark, thank you so much. I really want to appreciate you, and I want each and every one of you to know that I value you and I appreciate you. You can write me at destinyhelper12s at gmail.com. Destinyhelper12s at gmail.com. You know, I do sessions. You can do sessions with me. We can talk about it. Those of you who are looking for a therapist, you're in the state of Washington. And also my daughter, Dr. Carmen Bryan, she has a program, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. The girl is super bad, just literally awesome. I love her to life, and I love how she loves you, and I love you too. And we're going to come together. She said, she said, thanks so much, Apostle. I will put my journal to use, and we are going to get through this. Everyone is here. Absolutely. We're going to do this. She said, Angela said, I take the word of the Lord and I release it over myself daily. Absolutely. I want you to know that I love you to life. And one step at a time, the bridge behind me, you get across this bridge one step at a time. And this bridge will take you to the end of wherever it goes. The end of your life is victory. The end of your life is power. The end of your life is greatness. Everything you've been through will serve you. It's going to work for your benefit as you begin to increase others. Nicole, thank you so much. I love you to life. And that's Warm Network. Thank you. Thank you for being on here with us. Warm Network, God bless you. She said, deep worship is the key. Absolutely. Worship your way out of where you are into where He is, because whatever God is comes on you, in you, through you, and that becomes your world. And His world is always bigger than ours. And so I love you. God bless you. And guess what? I'll see you on the next video. And remember, if you want sessions with me, write me at destinyhelper12s@gmail.com. We also have another conference that I want to do. You all really rave over the Empath Conference. I'm deciding between a part 2 of the Empath Conference, and then we want to do an Inner Healing Conference. The Inner Healing Conference, I'm believing God that we can be together because we can minister to each other, and we will have these big mirrors that we talk to each other, and we would even go from stimulation of childhood hurts, pains, affliction, rejections, abandonment issues, and we will come together because God is great on the inside of us. So listen up, all of my fam, and join us. And what we decided with the Empath Conference, we are calling ourselves, Angela Walker is going to get the award. We liked her name. So, Angela, there will be a prize in that for you. And we're going to announce it at the next conference. And we're going to reward you, Angela Walker, at the next conference because we did agree upon the name that you've given us. I love you to life. God bless you. And I will see you at the next video.